Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakak double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. To the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. Never trust thine enemy. And I'm going to say it one more time for you, Jake. Which, when we say Jake, it's just a shortened way of speaking of the 12 tribes of Israel who come, or who's a descendant from Jacob, all right? Because Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, which represents who? You so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans of Negro and Indian descent. So the scripture in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 10 again says, never trust thine enemy. For like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right? So the scriptures is letting you know you have enemies. All right? But see, what you don't understand is public enemy number one is right before your eyes. He's the mastermind. He's the deceiver. He is the one who is operating, right? He's the puppet master who's pulling all the strings around the earth right now. Now let's get a few more precepts real fast. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So who has everything in their hand as we speak? Who owns everything, right? Who owns all the land? Who owns all the resources? Who controls everyone? This answer shouldn't be hard. This answer shouldn't be hard at all. Your first answer should have been what group of people. You should have said white people, right? Which we say so-called because really these people go back to the Edomites. But see, these are the ones who have the earth in their hand right now because via prophecy. Right, because we know one of another end time prophecy that you could see and you could tell who's in power at the end is when we go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of a Daphala." So this goes into a period of time or age or a rulership, right? So Esau is the end of the world, not the end of the world, the entire world where there's going to be no more earth, no more people, no more animals, no more water. No. Not that. This is talking about the rulership, okay? The end of his world, the end of his wicked reign. So with that being said, let me get two more before we go into this real quick. The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4 says, let's start at verse 2. It says, Malachi chapter 1, verse 2, it says, I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet ye saying, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith Yahweh, yet I love Jacob. So you got to understand, Isaac and Rebekah had two children, right? Or out of these two children, okay, one was special, better, greater than the other. All right, and that one who was the special one, the chosen one, which would be a better word to say or to use, would be who? Jacob. But Esau was the one that was hated. Now, two nations came out of this woman's womb. All right? The Edomites and the Israelites. Right? And the Edomites are you so-called white people. You people that descend from Esau. But now there's different things that took place. You had slavery. You had the mixing and mingling with the different nations. And I mean mixing and mingling. I mean, other nations laying their seed down in Israelite women, which will create, their children by bloodline and by seed. And, oftentimes you would have, their children being mistaken as, so-called black people, if you will, right? Because we're using Edom, for instance, if you will, and they will be mistaken as an Israelite because they might take on the mitochondrial DNA of their mother, right? They may take on certain features, and one of those features may be the color of their skin, but really they're Edomites by bloodline. They're really so-called white to use it in a term that you can understand. But you often have the same thing with Israelites. Okay, there are a lot of Israelites out there that have dealt with women from the other nations, but let's just deal with the Edomite woman, the so-called white woman, and a lot of their children might have came out with blonde hair, blue eyes, freckles, a little bit more straighter hair, but all in all, their father is an Israelite, so it will make that child an Israelite. But see, that's part of the deception that E have used to, also further and push his agenda. And while I am mentioning that, 1 second, Salakia. And you're going to get what I'm saying of why I'm even bringing that to your attention. Okay? Yeah, so you're going to understand why I'm bringing that to your attention. Okay? Because, Esau has used that to his advantage. Okay? Well, let's finish this off. And then I'll get right into the point. It says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountain and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And that's what he have done, right? He was taken down, he was taken down. He fell for the point in time, but now he's what? He was loosed for his little season. And this is where we're at right now. But see, as the scriptures say, the triumph of the wicked is but for a moment. So he only has a little bit of moment. Even his rulership was still a little season, but he's back in his little season now because there was a once, he was heightened in his power. Had everything, was conquering the whole earth and was running through things, but then guess what? They fell. And then what arose after that? The Holy Roman Empire, which was the Israelites that rose in power, that converted to Islam. Okay, the Moors. They're better yet known as the Moors, and they will call it the Dark Ages, which Esau does not really like to talk about. The Dark Ages is the period of time where he fell, he was out of power, and people of dark complected people, more of the Israelites, were ruling. Okay. So it says, so this is their mindset. It says, but we will return and build the desolate places, thus saith Yahweh of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them, it's talking about the people, right? The border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh have indignation forever. So it said that they was going to build up, right? They was going to build this magnificent great city as they have, so to speak, right now. But the Lord said, I'm going to throw down. And eventually this is what's about to take place. The Lord is about to throw down, and he's about to throw down on this place, America, Babylon the Great, and other places around the world with thermonuclear destruction. All right, especially our homeland over there in Jerusalem. All right, okay. Just to make one more point to back that up. So this lets you know who the wicked is, and this is another, show that these people are in power. Micah chapter 2 verse 1 says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." You see, Esau, Edom is the only person that has the power on the earth to do what he do. All right? He's the only individual, the only nation of people on the earth that is able to do what he's doing. All right? But this is about to go into what he was doing. Some of the things, right? I was about to just to mention a thing or two that he does, even until this day. It says, "And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage." This is the type of shit Esau does. All right? And this is why you see the whole broken down, structure of starting with the Israelite family, first and foremost. That is totally, discombobulated. Because that was how he's, it was through his system and his tactic to keep Israel down, right? To continue to manipulate and have control over the Israelite man, woman, and child, okay? For his beneficial, profitable purposes of keeping us in sin, which is the main thing. Keep us in sin, keep us spiritually down, physically and mentally. You know, to not keep us connected or to be one with our power. You know, this is why he is doing all these things to keep us down. All right, or have done and is continuing to do all these things to keep us down and out. Okay? There's always see, everything he does, there's a purpose behind it. There's a greater purpose for him behind it of why he do what he do. Okay, but going to this, what did I want to get locked here? Oh, I wanted to make a point. So going back to this, right? So never trusting our enemy. What you got to understand is the enemy will do anything in his power to deceive you. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention to you was this whole Kay Harris, Kamala Harris ordeal, right? Talking about she's supposed to be, since Biden dropped out the race, she's supposed to be put in place, and Jake is losing it. Jake is in a feel good spirit. Jake is in a complete feel good spirit, as if something going to change because that woman's going to be running or in office, so to speak. No, that ain't going to change Jack. It ain't changed Jack with Obama. But even going with him, it was the same deception he used. That dude was not like I said, he's not really technically, if you want to use the terms, black. When I mean black, I'm talking about he's not so-called Negro or so-called African American or so-called colored, so to speak. The different terms that they put on the so-called Negroes. He's not that. He might be have some melanin, but when you go back to his line, if I'm not mistaken, I believe his line goes back to Ham, right? Because you are what you are by your father. And Kamala Harris, if I'm not mistaken, she goes back to, I think her father's an East Indian, right? But I'm talking about a real one, I'm talking about the real heathen of these people. And all they have is, just maybe some, I'm not talking about their father, I mean, their father. But they just have they have slight, regular features that you would think Jake will have. But see, this is not the case. That doesn't make them Israelites by skin complexion, or features for the most part. Some things can somewhat be obvious, but a lot of times it's not. That's why Jake is able to be tricked and fooled, because they're thinking in their mind of, oh, she's colored, she's mixed or whatever, but she's still black. She's for us. We're gaining edge, or we're going to get the win. No, this is not the case. You are being bamboozled once again. So this is why the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy. Okay? Never. All he's going to do is be the wicked that he is, and he's going to use his wicked ways to get over. Right? That's what he's going to do. He's going to use his wicked ways to get over, as he been doing. Okay? That's the point. So the reason why the scriptures say never trust thy enemy. Let's further go down there. It says basically why? Verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Always going to be wicked. The rust is always going to be there. Even when you try to wipe it away, no, that's going to be there. Okay? It's going to be just like his wickedness. It's just always there. Right? Rather, when you think you're using something to get all the rust off, you come back a day or 2 hours later, it's there. It comes right back. Right? So this is the wickedness of this devil.